don't open that door. Come along with our triumvirate of terror as we descend into darkness, hurtle into horror, and plunge into peril. If you ever made a bad decision for money, you're in the right place. I'm Justin, and best believe, ginger tea cures a lot of things.
It does. I'm Nico, and I think I have the best vision out of the three of us.
Probably. Well, I'm Dan, and worship. If you know, you know.
And we're here today to review Double Blind. This one was directed by Ian Hunt-Duffy, starring Millie Brady as Claire, Pollyanna McIntosh as Dr. Burke, Abby Fitz as Allison, Akshay Kumar as Amir, Brennick O'Connor as Paul, and Diarmuid Noyes as Ray. First off, I'd like to open with a RIP to Stuart Little. Those who know, know. We open with Claire, not Redfield though, a woman who has volunteered for a medical trial hosted by Blackwood Pharmaceuticals. And maybe some parallels there that maybe there are. She, along with Allison, Amir, Ray, and a few others, have to spend 5 days taking increasing dosages of a drug. Everything goes as normal until all of the participants realize they can't fall asleep. For someone who would know nothing about that, Nico, what happens next?
So the doctor administering the trial reports all of this, and there's a troubling scan that shows the subjects are all uniformly undergoing a ton of brain inflammation. Oof. So they continue to take the doses, and they're told that they will all get 30,000 euros if they take an even higher dosage, which is just about 31,500 freedom bucks. America! And things are going swimmingly until Allison falls asleep and suffers from a very bloody brain hemorrhage and dies.
Indeed. Dan, things are confusing. You're the guy to bring calm to situations. What happens?
Well, I don't succeed because this throws everybody into a panic, and the doctor hits up the superiors to report what happened. While all this is going on, Amir gets into a secure computer and copies some files, which triggers a 24-hour lockdown on the facility. Oopsies. The doctor is killed attempting to get out, and the remaining patients are left with a startling realization. They have to stay awake for 24 hours to get help, or they will die.
Some context that we forgot to put in here. At this point, they had been awake for 100 hours.
Yeah.
Indeed. That is very important. Nico, keep on with your game, good sir. What happens?
So, as time goes on, linear nature of time and all that,
It is.
the patients become even more paranoid due to their lack of sleep, which is a real thing. Amir has some medical knowledge and tries to help the group, but they grow increasingly suspicious of him. Some of the patients fall asleep and they immediately die. The group realizes they have to get out, and at this point, they attempt to break down a wall, but to no avail. The group then ties up Amir, and he begins to hallucinate Dr. Burke, telling him to take control of the situation.
Well, Dan, you're the guy to put the conclusion on things. I have no idea how this is going to go. So what happens?
Well, Claire, no, not Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII, and another patient find what they think is a way out, but it's actually an incinerator and Duke gets cooked alive. Meanwhile, Amir breaks free.
How did he not fucking put that together?
I have no idea.
It was right next to the bodies.
Meanwhile, Amir breaks free and kills another patient. Now, only he and Claire are left standing. The 24-hour lockdown lifts, and a Blackwood Special Ops team enters the facility, killing any survivors, which is really just Amir. Claire fakes being dead and manages to escape that way. The movie ends with Claire in a coma in a hospital, and a news report airing stating that Blackwood was cleared of all wrongdoing. The end.
All right. Well, we got to attack this from the top down. So, Nico, how does this movie look?
I think they do a lot with a little here. There is a definite color palette to the movie and a definite vibe to it, particularly given the sort of limiting restrictions that the set design has. you can't really go outside and explore a whole lot. So they do a lot with the set. They do a lot with just the different characters themselves. And I think almost all of the blood and gore looks really well done. There were a couple times where there was a lingering shot on a face that looked like it was a little tomato saucy, but for the most part, it all looked very good.
I thought it looked good. I especially like the kind of dreamier sequences, and I wish there was more of those. But I like the way it looked overall. Dan, how about you?
I just echo exactly what Justin says. I like the way it looked, and I like the dreamy sequences. Could have used one or two more.
Indeed. Well, Dan, I can't just let you echo me nonstop, so hit me with the sound. What's going on there?
Well, I enjoyed the sound. There were some good synths, some good synth action in this one. Cool sort of ambient synth backdrop, some like vocal chops in there too, thrown in there, drones. It was cool. And I thought the dialogue was pretty good as well.
Yeah. I think that first and foremost, I'd like to echo everything Dan just said there.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I am a big fan of synth, as everyone knows. There's some good drones going in there, some vocal chops.
Yep.
I thought the dialogue was pretty good as well.
Oh, yeah?
And this is a movie, if you couldn't tell by some of the casting, dear listener, it's Irish. And obviously they speak English, but it's with an Irish accent. I don't think you'll need subtitles for it. There were literally maybe only one or two occasions where I was like, hey, what did they just say there? But for the most part, your American ear should be able to pick on it just fine. Nico, how about you?
Most of you listening, you're probably the real ones who watch with subtitles, but like, tell a friend. Most of the world is horribly illiterate. Just for the sake of getting people better at reading, please convince people to watch with subtitles. I beg of you.
Hey, DOT does not represent or affirm this stance. This is a stance made
Sorry,
by Nico.
DOTD doesn't represent or affirm literacy? Bold hill there, Justin. Bold hill to die on.
I only does it when I needs to, boss. But how'd you think about the sound, Sir Nico?
I liked it. I think the motifs and little synth tie-ins that they do with all the scares all had satisfying thrums and booms and other such onomatopoetic words that you can insert here at your own disposal. I think the dialogue and in particular the delivery of the lines was really good, especially from our little everyone's favorite mousy, bubbly, I just want to get to know everybody because I don't have any friends and surely nothing bad's going to happen to me about a third of the way into the movie. Gosh, I'm like a golden retriever. Sure would be awful to see me just die from the inside out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So let's go ahead
inside and outside, blew his house up from
blue.
The inside because of, drugs.
As he says. So I want to talk a little more about the characters. What'd you think of them generally, and did you have maybe a most or a least favorite?
My favorite character was our lead here, Millie Brady as Claire. And cards on the table, part of that is because she looks a lot like someone who I used to have a gigantic crush on. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is interesting, pleasant. But I also like how she went and juxtaposed herself with everyone else's motivations, and I think for the most part tried to be as helpful and kind despite her prickly outer shell.
Mm-hmm. Dan, how about you?
I think my favorite was Paul, one of the people we did not really mention in the synopsis.
Not Paul Waldo.
No, not him. He doesn't have a red ball either.
Oh, I hope.
I thought he was pretty level-headed, made a lot of great decisions until the end when he incinerated himself. That was maybe a little dumb.
What a fucking sentence.
But other than that, I thought he was, when I think his name was Roy, was trying to turn against Amir.
Down B's killer.
Yeah. When he was trying to turn against Amir, Paul kind of held out until he kind of logically realized it. And I thought that was, something that would actually happen or a way somebody would actually react. And I don't know, I just felt connected to my man, Paul.
Indeed. This is going to sound like a big surprise here, but my favorite character was Amir. I felt
Shock and awe.
I felt like he was the most competent out of everyone. And I think it was
What do you think about
up.
his betrayal?
What do you
at
mean
the
his
end?
betrayal?
When he betrays everyone and tries to murder them.
Nah, you could only betray people that's on your side. Wasn't no one on his side.
I mean,
That's real.
he wasn't violent towards them at first. I would say going and trying to stab someone is a betrayal. If you came over to me, Nico, everyone's favorite Italian on the pod, and came at me with a real big fucking Bowie knife, I would feel that is both, one, a lot of piercing damage, and two, a betrayal, my good sir.
If you sucker punched me and tied me up, I would assume we're no longer on the same team. And thus me coming at you with a knife is no longer a betrayal.
But she didn't tie him up. Claire never was involved with any of that. In fact, she protested it.
She did that kind of like, hey guys, let's not do this, without actually putting a stop to it. Because she didn't,
what do you expect?
physically...
She was going to fight off all the other men there?
She did leave him there when she could have easily untied him.
Yeah.
Okay, that point
she
is, I will give you that.
She too grabbed a knife and went towards him.
Later, yeah.
Before he went to kill her.
Before he went to kill her.
Sorry, no, you're
Every
right.
single person there betrayed Amir. So I wouldn't say Amir betrayed anyone. He's looking out for number one, which he should at that point.
Okay, fair enough.
I have another reason why Amir's Justin's favorite.
Oh, yeah?
Because he's brown.
We'll save that for 1 second. But my least favorite character was probably Vanessa. And I say that because Vanessa does some things that confuse me a little bit. Because when they're all like hyping up the witch hunt against Amir, Vanessa's part of it. But then she's pulls
a big
aside.
part of it.
It's
tries
Ray,
to drug him and then fails.
Yeah, and then Ray's like, oh yeah, they have a conversation, and Vanessa tells Ray, oh yeah, I saw you cut out the lights, by the way, which like directly led to the death of one of our teammates or whatever, but I ain't gonna tell no one though. And there was this like little weird subsection about her and religion and God, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah,
it kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to put it out there, expound on it a little bit. Because at the very beginning, she moves like a main character almost. Like she's got that aura of like, oh, there's something more to her. And she's the one who I think the motives or her backstory we dive into the most, aside from probably Amir and main character. But I don't know, like she was just the person I thought maybe got me a little aggro the most. But yeah, there goes my things. But Dan, why is Amir my favorite character?
So
he's brown.
when we were younger, bit of lore here.
You know what? I thought about that. I knew you would bring this up. I knew you would.
Justin had a crush on somebody for many years. And to be able to talk about her without people knowing, her code name was Amir. And anytime I meet somebody named
real
Amir,
fucking slick code name
that goes in my head.
That's pretty funny. As we talk about the characters, I feel like we also got to talk through some of the scenes as well. So hit me with it. Do you have a favorite scene? Favorite moment?
I think my favorite scene was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was one of the early people to die. I think after Allison.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the first one who we see kind of hallucinate.
He was the like gym bro, right?
Yeah. He hallucinates. What does he hallucinate? That like getting out or something? I can't quite remember. But he hallucinates something, and it's kind of one of those dreamlike sequences Justin and I had mentioned before. And then all of a sudden, he's actually dead. And I thought that was a cool way to show like hallucination, and then like him not understanding what's happening in reality, and then like falling asleep so he dies.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think that really makes a whole lot of sense to the audience right now, but if you've seen the
It's
movie,
like an
you know what I mean.
out-of-body experience. Like he's witnessing his own death.
Yeah. Who does that happen to later? Oh, Vanessa. We're just talking about Vanessa.
Yeah.
She has a similar scene later where she hallucinates and is actually dead, and I thought it was not very well done at all for her, but I liked how well it was done for him.
She sees the devil, bro.
Nah.
Fair enough. That was a powerful ass nah. Nico, how about you?
My favorite scene, I think, has to be that first reveal when Allison is asleep and we see her basically just hemorrhage from the inside out like a grape that someone just squeezed. And that really set the stakes. I was a big fan of how that particular reveal was done, both from the cinematography aspect and from the practical design.
Mm-hmm. My favorite scene, I'm not going to lie to anyone. There's a part where Claire is hallucinating and she's about to fall asleep and she sees herself and she drops her, they use smelling salts to keep themselves awake because they can't take stimulants because that might push their brains into overdrive and cause them to like spontaneously combust. But they use smelling salts as a way to keep themselves awake, and she fumbles it and drops it, and then she's like floating away. Like you can see her floating away, and she's just like trying to grab back the smelling salts. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a cool little like, oh my God. Because earlier on in the movie, she almost falls asleep until Mountaineering dude wakes her up. Like, so she would have been gone then too, which kind of makes me think they probably should have stuck together more because
yeah, just maybe. Also, real quick, they were all like nickel and diming their smelling salts. Like they couldn't just break them close together and so they could both receive the effective one. Like, I don't know. I feel like they had a lot more than they realized. Like they very easily could have just cracked one and like, I don't know.
It.
Yeah.
I've seen bodybuilders do that. I don't know how effective that would be for their purposes. Plot twist, I've never used smelling salts.
Nor have I.
I've smelled smelling salts. I know that like fucks you up.
Yeah.
But I've never like actually had to use one. So I don't know like what the effect is.
Wait,
but...
how have you smelled smelling salts but not used them?
Well, like someone's been like, oh bro, like this is what smelling salt smells like, and passes to me. I've been like, oh shit, that's horrible, bro. But I've never had to like be resuscitated by one or like used one for lifting or something, you know what I mean?
But isn't that, if you just smelled it, that's what smelling salts is. Smelling it. So yeah, you didn't use it for resuscitation, but you still did it and felt the effects, right?
I guess that's a question for the streets, isn't it? Like, if you just like dabbled in it right fast, are you using it or nah? Yo, Nico's really out here with the pose up. We got to clip that.
Bro,
but
you're
no,
over here like saying like, bro, I just like made some tacos, but like I had them, they tasted good, but I've never eaten tacos before.
Yeah, man, big up. You're right about that.
That is the type of circular 1984 George Orwellian logic that Justin very regularly speaks in, just for the record.
Oh, speaking of, I just reread Animal Farm this weekend. A real read for anyone who needs to know. A real read.
That one sure does snowball.
It did. I see what you did there. So, I want to ask now, what kind of horror, what genre, what flavor is this, would you say?
I'm going to throw one out of left field here and say the presentation of this feels incredibly YA to me. Like,
does it really?
Yeah, particularly the level of the age that the main characters are, and having it be representative of more so that demographic, that and the mild to overt dystopian themes and presentation, with the capitalism bad being one of the larger themes, just because, you know, the end has the company getting off scot-free basically, and that sucks. But I thought it was very representative of a lot of like themes and other sort of narratological like executions as done in YA books. Hey, look, I've probably read the most YA out of all of us, I should say. So you can fucking Press X to doubt all you want. But I have the goddamn receipts, okay?
My only question for you is this. Claire is like 25.
Yeah, 25 is young.
I was thinking YA was more like 16, 17.
Yeah.
I mean, things that would appeal to and are structured like those novels, like Hunger Games, Divergent, and stuff. Like, this has the same narrative flow and pace to the reveals of how technology is a big part of the world and how lethal everything is and how we're all gonna die and stuff like that.
I feel you. I'm used to typically the only people being, like, the age of consent in young adult novels is the male
Whoa,
characters.
calm down there, Ben Shapiro.
Zing! But nah. Shout outs to Divergent, Twilight, and in fact Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Either way, fucking Divergent, what a book. So I'll say this.
I didn't say they were all good.
I'm thinking this is more along the lines of once again, Justin is going to go ahead and play the thriller card, though I will say there is definitely a good amount of, I think, psychological horror in this too, probably, because
For sure.
again, like, there's nothing in this that I found to be personally scary, but if you were like locked in and then you realize, oh shit,
Sudden hemophilia. Oh no.
I can't go to sleep, that might be a problem. And I don't know, like, it's cool though. It is definitely one that I think builds tension.
What's the longest y'all have stayed awake?
I think like 36-ish hours, somewhere around there.
I think mine is either just under 72 or just
Damn.
over 72.
Fuck.
God damn.
Hey, bruh.
There was a weekend when I was on the debate team in high school and we were at UVA when I literally just didn't sleep. It was bad.
Damn, bruh. I was
And
gonna
now
say
you have to make up for it.
Yep.
I'm way weaker than the two of you. I'm just around the 30-ish hour mark for me. And that was a stay up all night cuz I'm on a secret mission, and then I get back to home base and just pass the fuck out. That's just what happened there. But
For the listeners, staying up for long periods of time and getting no sleep is not a good thing. Don't
Yeah,
do it.
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Sounds like we're bragging, but we really should not be bragging about
No.
this.
I was literally,
that's
I don't know if I've mentioned this on the pod or not, but the two of them can attest to this. I was the kid with the most absences in the entire goddamn school. Don't do what I did.
Hey, listen, here on DOTD, we definitely encourage everyone to get a healthy amount of sleep. And Dan, not at all related, what genre is this?
I think it's psychological horror. I can see a bit of that thriller in there too, but I think there's a lot of mind games, not necessarily like plot twist kind of mind games, but just like hallucinating and just people trying to keep a straight head throughout the whole thing.
Straight head indeed. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to take it to the what would you do? And I was kind of thinking about this for a while because I truly didn't know what to do. And then I thought about it and I said, okay, how about this? Is there something in this world? It could be anything at all. It just has to be somewhat dangerous, right? That you are confident in your skills, that you would volunteer to do it for, some money, let's say. Because drug trials, I mean, I don't think any one of us on here are volunteering ourselves for those. Funny, last time Dan and I were on the Betro, we saw an advertisement for one of those, and Dan was like, bruh. And I was like, bruh, I ain't doing that.
I actually did at least try to get into a drug trial for celiac, but I wasn't able to go through with a procedure just because of schedule conflicts.
Indeed. So is there anything dangerous? Wow, I fucked up completely. Thanks, Nico.
You're welcome.
So real quick, I also want to talk about themes. Nico, you covered a couple. Dan, is there any other themes that you can bring up?
I don't quite know how to describe this succinctly, or one or two words, but Claire and Allison have a conversation about mice in a cage,
Right.
and basically comparing that to real people in life.
Despite
Yes.
all our rage, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, pretty much. So whatever you would call that, I think is a theme. It was a little heavy-handed. I kind of wish they didn't like explain it.
Anthropomorphism, kind of.
Well, it was more like saying that like the mice, when given the choice, didn't escape the cage, and neither do people. Oftentimes.
I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
I think
Desire
they could
for
have.
security, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
Oh no.
I wish the movie had left out the "but so do people" part and left that for the listener to interpret.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
For me, outside of what Nico already said, the other thing that I saw was being, I guess, thankful for what you have. And at the risk of sounding cheesy, every day is a new day to make a new start, because that's what they were looking for the money for. You know, a lot of them were not sure about where they were going to go or not sure of what they were going to do. Amir talks about how he doesn't even know what he wants out of life anymore. And Claire then goes, I just want to see the sunrise. Like, I just want to get outside and see the sun.
And she accomplishes
And-
that.
She does. And to me, you know, whenever you see, not whenever, but sometimes you see these situations where you get into a real bad situation, and then the number one thing you want to do is you just want to get back to what your life was before. Like, you might not have been thankful for it at that point in time, but now you are. And you want to get back to that normal.
Yeah, return to
Like,
baseline.
I've done it a bunch of times. So I think that was also a theme in the movie for sure.
Question: is it really a new day if you haven't gone to sleep yet? I mean, like, I know obviously technically it is, but like to you, like when you're talking about like a new day to start fresh, kind of like if you haven't gone to sleep in 3 days, like, is it really a new day in that
I
perspective?
mean, you already know me. I'm the king of, I could be up and it could be like 3 a.m. If I haven't gone to sleep yet, it's not tomorrow yet.
Okay, so that was thanks for answering my question.
Big up. How about you, Nico?
What?
Come
Never
on, man.
mind. Go sleep.
Go to sleep, bro.
Sorry, that just
He
fucked me
needs
up a
some
little.
sleep.
I need that. I just need that on repeat. But fair
man.
enough. Many thematics were touched there.
Yeah.
Now, to the
Ew.
what would you do? And I'm gonna just ask this point blank. What dangerous task would you be willing to volunteer for some money? Either because you're confident in your skills or what have you. Is there a dangerous task that you would do for some money?
Teach in the United States of America.
Yo, someone
Too
fucking
real.
someone boo Nico, pick something else.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it on the level of like Fish and Garrett on YouTube, because that man is
Yeah, that
a
man's a
modern
fucking
day
psycho.
cryptid. But I would probably be, I think, more comfortable like handling snakes than most people. I think snakes are cute.
Okay. All right. So Nico would handle that snake. Dan, how about you?
Liquid.
So, taking things back to school days again,
Uh-huh.
no.
Justin and I have both taken these tests.
Oh no. Damn it.
If you could survive in the wild, and I absolutely would, and Justin absolutely wouldn't. So I'm gonna take the money for that one.
Okay.
It was written.
Bro, fucking 15 years and I can't escape these goddamn tests.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
For me, it would probably be I would fight for money.
Fight what though?
People.
Oh,
Oh.
that's boring.
What? All right,
Also
let me
out of
see when you
character.
jump
I
into
feel
the
like
fucking octagon.
historically, whenever you and violence are going out on the town, it's usually towards something almost inhuman.
Fucking ocelot or a fucking rabbit or
Secunia, whatever the fuck.
yeah.
Bruh. Yes, that's me. That's my reality TV show, Justin, Secunia Hunter. But,
I'd watch it, man.
dude, I would watch a movie about dudes hunting Secunia. Yeah. But either way,
Pause.
that's where we're at. Why don't we talk about the critic review for this movie, guys?
Oh boy.
Last we left off, Dan was the king on the mountaintop.
Whoop whoop.
But as King Dan, you must now. We're introducing a new rule to this.
Are we? Oh, okay.
After however long we've been doing this, the winner of last week has to pick first
Almost
this week.
5 fucking years,
Don't worry about that. Dan,
which is insane.
you gotta go. You gotta pick first, Dan. What do you think this movie has on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics?
I think it got
Wait, so
us
that's the new mechanic? Dan picks first?
Well, winner picks first.
game changer.
Oh,
here.
okay.
A whole nother ball game now. I'm gonna say a 65.
Yeah, I feel like people don't like this. I'm gonna say a 56.
You are both wrong, and possibly the wrongest we've ever been on this
Really?
podcast. This movie has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics.
Are you fucking for real?
No, I'm not. Fucking,
Well, that
I am dead
tracks.
serious though.
Wait, what?
This
got
has
Justin-
100% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics.
What did one person rate it?
10 reviews, mind you.
Wow.
10? Wow. Wow.
That just means everyone rated it fresh, but still.
Yeah.
The audience was a little closer to Dan with a 72%. So, Dan, you still technically win, but you shouldn't feel proud about it.
Well, too bad because
And-
I do. Fuck you.
Well, all right then. But I want to get your thoughts. Give me, your score and just maybe some final thoughts on the movie.
I'm going to give this an 80. I had a good time. Had a crush on the protagonist. Wasn't too cerebral. Wasn't that deep. But I had a good time. 80.
I think this movie was fine. I don't think it really did anything out of the box or new or anything like that. It was entertaining. I think there were a couple plot points and one character we spoke about who I think was not particularly well written, but I still had a good time watching it. I'm going to give it a 70.
I'm going to give it a 69.
Nice.
I liked the movie, but to me, this almost kind of feels like an unevolved Pokemon. And what I mean by that is I feel like this has a base and we've got the setting, we've got the cast, but I feel like this doesn't go in any direction. Are you going to say maybe, oh, like this company, like what are the pills meant to do? Like what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to get us closer to the unknown? What is that gateway or doorway that everyone sees? This the door to the other world? Like what's going on? Like I feel like there's so many different roads that this movie could have gone down, and then it goes down none of them.
To your credit, as someone who's like tried to sign up for trials, it wouldn't work like that. You would know what you're doing there. It wouldn't be like, come try, I don't know, fucking something. Maybe it'll help. Who's to say?
Well, I mean, if they were like, yo, we're trying to reach out to fucking Cthulhu, they're not going to put that on the job description now, are they?
No,
John
I
would
mean
take it.
purely to like what you're saying about like the original premise that we're given.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is just fairly like, it just ends up being just that, just
Yeah.
a drug trial gone awry. When I almost wanted there to be something more. Like, and to me, that's credit to the story and stuff like that. But I just wanted more. Like, I just wanted something deeper.
Mhm.
Because you even
I
have
feel
the
you.
setup for like the religious chick, and I'm like, okay, so are we reaching out to God? Are we reaching out to something else? And I just feel like even like the Empty Man, if they had just like give me a smidgen, you know what I'm saying? Just like toss in a little dash of turmeric, some curry powder, who knows what could happen. But instead, no. So that's why it gets a 69 from me. Would we recommend this one, lads?
Yeah, I would. Don't expect a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Golden Seal?
Nah.
Nope. This is an indie joint. Do we want to give it the diamond in the rough?
Nah.
Nope. So there you have it, dear listener. It does get a recommendation from us here at Don't Open That Door. However, not getting any golden seal and not getting any diamond in the rough. It's worth perusing, though. And who knows, maybe if you can't sleep, you should check this one out.
Come again?
Nope.
Santa? I didn't
fast.
I didn't know. Is this a Christmas movie?
But with all that said, hit us up. We want to know. You like this? You don't like this? Can you sleep? Can you not sleep? What do you dream about? Who knows? Electric Sheep? Hit us up. We're on X and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're also on Facebook. That's Don't Open That Door. Plus, check everything we've done on our website.
Let us
which
know
is-
if you want us to make a blue sky. I don't know. Seems like that place is popping off. Tell us if you want that.
It is. Peek behind the curtain. I got to talk to these guys about that.
Okay.
But no. Plus, we're on Facebook at Don't Open That Door. Check out everything we've done on our website, which is dotdhorror.com. But till next time, take care of one another. And as we said before, sleep is mad vital. If you're growing or if you're shrinking, sleep helps you either way. So just take that into account. And as always, dear listener,
What?
don't open that door. Bye.